Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Rob Harris here. Welcome back to my channel, Rob's Funk and Junk, whatever it's called. Um, Today I thought I'd try and do something a little bit adventurous. It may not work, it may work, and it may be amazing. I don't know what it's going to turn out like. All I do know is that if it's not very good, you'll never see it. So I'm going to try and do this as one long, not long video, but just a video um, just trying to show you my working process for coming up with little ideas and putting things down. So I'm doing a little Instagram video or something for TikTok or just a writing session. But out of it, it will be intertwined with the way I work when I'm doing sessions for people and when I'm on a writing session, how I'm sort of helping to support an idea. I use Luna, Universal Audio's Luna, but this will be relevant to any other DAW like Logic or Pro Tools or Ableton. Not that I have any idea how Ableton works, but it's not really about that. It's about how I sort of try and quickly come up with things. Um, as you can see, I have my instruments all sort of laid out behind me. I've got guitars around the room, and so what I'm going to be trying to do is coming up with a musical idea, a thought, or a melody, and then capturing that melody and then fleshing it out and trying to build a little track around it. I'll just be making choices as quickly as I possibly can just to get the thing moving. When I'm working in the studio with JK, for example, from Jamiroquai, we have to get things moving very, very quickly. We don't like to spend too long. If something's not working, we quickly move on to something new and fresh. And I'm going to be using a very, very simple setup. I've got all my guitars here, a couple of basses. I'll choose between them. I'll be pulling in loops from Splice. I'll be finding a loop, and I'll keep it as simple as I possibly can. I won't be going too in deep with loads of effects and stuff like that unless I really need to. But you might be able to see how I sort of get some sounds going um, in in my everyday sort of working practice. Um, it will be warts and all, so you'll hear me come up with an idea, and you'll hear me hopefully hear me refining a part. So what I'm going to do is try and keep everything in. If I make a mistake, you'll hear that mistake. I'll stop and start. You'll be hearing the audio of exactly how I'm doing it, where I'm placing instruments and parts. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pretend that I'm in the studio. First of all, I'm just going to check that this audio is recording. I've got my click track on here. Yep, audio is recording to my other bit here, so I'm capturing everything. So what I'm going to do now is I am just going to imagine a melody. Right now, please excuse me, it means I'm going to have to sing a little bit. Please don't judge me on my singing, but I'm going to imagine a melody. This is how it would work if I was on a writing session. A singer would sing me something, and I would very quickly internalize that melody. So I'm going to just come up with something off the top of my head that I've never sung before. So please excuse me. So, okay. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Right? Ba 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 ba. Da, 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 da. Right, that's the very first thing I've come up with. Right? Ba 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 ba. And what you can see is I'm immediately da 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 da. Da, 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 getting a tempo. So what I'm going to do here on my screen, I'm going to get my tempo up, and I'm going to tap that tempo out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. So it's about 99, near enough 100 BPM. Okay, so I'm putting 100 BPM in, apply. So here's my tempo. Ba, 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 ba. Right, I want a little bit more pacey than that. 105. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Okay, there's my tempo. I'm going to grab a guitar, and I am going to get a lead. I have my Princeton turned on already, and I'm going to plug it in, and I'm not going to sing that melody in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play it in with my guitar. So my guitar is plugging in to my Princeton, and I'm going to set up a new track here. New track. My Princeton is going through my aux box. The reason I'm using an aux box is because my dog's asleep in the back of the room and I don't want to have a mic or a loud cab on. I'm going to call this melody guitar. So I've still got that melody in my head. Da 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 da. Right, and then I am going to try and find that melody as quickly as possible. Excuse me, I'm going to set the right tracks. Get a bit more volume on the guitar here. Go to my console, turn my guitar up a bit. So right now I'm not getting, I'm just turning the reverb down on the amp. So literally guitar. Actually, let me check my tuning quickly. Always check your tuning. Okay. So I'm not getting too bogged down in tones or anything like that. So melody is ba da 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 da. Okay. And what I want to do, notice how I've retained that melody. Honestly, I didn't have it written before. It just came up the top of my head. If you're here in the room with me, you'd hear me do a completely different one. But I retain the melody as much as I possibly can. If I was to leave the room and make a sandwich, that melody would be gone. But at the moment, I'm trying to retain that melody in my head. Right, very simple melody. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to record it in so it's there. I never start right on zero. I'm just going to give myself a count in. Have I got the click running? Yes. 2, 3, 4. Right. Okay. So there's my melody. I'm just going to loop it so I can hear it. Very quiet, actually. I'm going to turn it up a bit. So what I'm going to try and do is now, hearing what the melody is, I'm going to try and find the chords that go behind it. So that note, what I'm trying to do is not get too based on, I'm not trying to bog myself down with theory. I'm just trying to hear what I want it to be. I don't want to be going, oh, that's, you know, this is in the key of this. I haven't even thought about what the key is. I don't, you know, I haven't thought about what that note is yet. It's just a melody to me, right? It means I can play it. I can play it anywhere. But at the moment, I'm there. And that's a skill, I believe, you want to try and get if you can. Hear a melody, hear something, and immediately jump on it and turn it into something you do on the guitar or whatever instrument you're playing. So that's what I try and do. I try and act very quickly and get the thing moving on an instrument so it's there. My dog's leaving the room, so see you in a minute, Kenny. He's going, I've heard that melody enough, I don't like it. So what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and find the chords to go with that. So that note is the note in a chord, okay? So it could be the note in a, it could be the note, so that's C sharp, D flat major, C sharp major. It could be C sharp major 7, C sharp major 9. It could be the fifth of the fifth of B flat minor 7. And then, so I like that. I can hear. So I'm just using my ear to take me where I want the music to go, okay? I'm not thinking of theory. I'm not going, oh, that's the 4 chord of this, that's the 2 of this. I don't actually care at the moment. I can work that out later. I just want to get on the flow of making something happen. So, that's it goes to a G flat major 7. I'm playing, that's the fifth of a B flat minor 7. You don't worry about that, but that's what it is. I can hear bum bum bum. Right, okay, there's my chord sequence. I can hear that's what I want it to be. E flat minor 9. Right, it's kind of a standard chord sequence, but I kind of like it. To A flat, so a G flat over A flat, or a A flat 11. That's my chord sequence. Right, that's quite pleasing to me. Okay, now I can kind of hear, if I play this along, the melody along, give myself a count in. Right, kind of pleasing. So I can hear, I'm already going, I kind of know where I'm at, right? So what I'm going to quickly do, I'll put them chords down so I know what they are, right? Always good to mark out what the chords are. My mouse has stopped working. What a time for my mouse to stop working. Oh, hang on, give it a rub. It's doing a weird thing. So, new track. I'm just going to duplicate and copy. So I'm using the same guitar, so I'm going to call it chords. And I'm going to just lay these chords in as simply as possible. So they're marked out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's my chord sequence. Okay, turn the volume up a bit. Gain it up a bit. So I know what that's doing now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some drums. Oh, this mouse is doing my head in. I don't know what's going on. I might need a new one. So I use Splice to bring drums in, right? Splice. Oh, I've got to log in. I'll black this out so you can't see my password. Hang on. I want to put my password in. You're not going to see it. You won't see it. I'll cut it out. This just goes to show you how haphazard this is. I'm logged into Splice. Come on, Splice. There you are. Right. If you haven't used Splice, this isn't an advert for Splice. This is just something I use to get things happening very quickly, right? I can't be bothered with programming drums. I just want to get an idea down and get things moving. So I go and I browse. I put drum loops in. I put the BPM in. So what are we? 105 BPM. So I like to do a range. I like to do sort of like 95 to 110. And then what that does is it searches for drum loops all within that tempo range. And then I like to go into the filters and what kind of mood am I in today? That's kind of a summery kind of melody. There's hip hop, there's disco. What am I thinking? Let me go for funk, right? See what funk throws up at me. Right, I'm in already. That one's good. I like that one. Listen to a few more. I like that one, right? I'm going to go for that one. Oh, where did that go? Hang on. That one. Right. So what I do is I download that and then I'm going to drag it in to my session. Just pick it up, drag it in. Now, it's not at the right tempo, but I'm going to put it in the right tempo by just time stretching it to make it work. That's what you can do. Right, I don't want all that. There's double kicks. Don't like that double kick. So I like the first bit, but I'm going to cut out the little extra kick drum. Don't like it. So I just basically just eliminate that kick there. Just delete it. Get rid of it there. So I get this. Nice. Right up to there. So I get the open hat. I make that a new loop. That's going to be my drum loop. Okay, I just consolidate that. There's my loop. Duplicate, duplicate. And now I have this. Right. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that guitar part with something a little bit funkier. Or actually, no, I'm going to swap over to bass. I'm going to go to bass guitar and just put a little bass line in and start from that and then probably pull back on the chordal part and change that. So bass guitar, right, what am I going to get? Jazz bass. The old jazz bass. Whee! The old jazz bass, the faithful jazz bass. Okay, so I'm unplugging. Oh, shit, don't fall over. Don't fall over. Guitar, please don't fall over. So I'm going to tune it up because I've just noticed it's out of tune. Okay. New track. bass. And it's going into input 1. I'm just going to put a little bit of, I'll sort out the sound afterwards. Right. Kind of got a little idea. I could spend ages on it. I'm just going to double it up so I've got a bit more of a run up of stuff that I can kind of play. Let me put those chords back in again. Sorry, I got rid of the chords before I wanted to. I select all here and I'm just going to double up. Just make a little section, a loop. Okay. So put that down, right? Excuse my bass playing, but here we go. And again, I was recording over the guitar part. Let me go again here. Record, warts and all. So what have I got there? That's 8 bars of a little idea. Okay. So now I am going to replace that guitar part. Okay. I'm going to just put something else in, like a little chordal, funky little chordal thing. Replug the guitar back in, warts and all. So, don't particularly want to hear those chords full like that, right, at the moment. Check the tune again. Okay. Guitar is so quiet for some reason. Let me just turn the guitar up a bit. Oh, it's because that. Right. So let me just, I'm just going to jam around a few little things to see what suits. Keep it really simple. So what I'm doing there is I am turn the guitar up again. It's very quiet. So anyone who's watched any of my other videos, I like to make chords smaller. So I got a B flat minor 7 here. So all I'm going to do is play those 3 notes of that chord, the G, B, and E strings, barring the 6th fret. So what that means is I'm just going to get a smaller version of the chord because the bass is already doing that. And if I stay there, what I'm doing is I'm getting a G flat major 7 chord there as well. So staying in the same place for 2 chords actually just really works, okay? So for the first two chord changes, I'm going to stay there. And then for the E flat minor 9 chord, I can stay there as well. And then for the A flat 11, or the what's that? A flat with it's a G flat with an A flat bass. So I might just play for the first 3 chords. Right. There's my part, right? I would normally spend a bit more time on that, but I'm just, because I'm working a bit fast, I'm just going to put that down. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, warts and all, there's a part, right? So turn it up a bit, gain it up a bit so it's a decent volume. Now I'm just going to take that melody out. I'm sick of hearing the melody now. Right, there's a little groove happening. Okay, so you can hear quite quickly. I mean, I know it's taken me, what am I, 29 minutes, but I was talking a bit at the start. I've got something down. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to find a picking part. I'm going to use a different guitar. I'm going to find a picking part to, just so it's a different tone in the track. Let me get rid of this guitar, and I am going to use my DGT. Get the old PRS DGT out, just because I know it's a very different sound from the other guitar, right? So let me tune it up because it's very out of tune. Okay, so I'm going to sort of aim for, I'm just going to create a new track here, duplicate without content. That's very similar sound. I'll call it pick 1. Now, most people, well, what I do, I've done it a lot. Sometimes I would just start playing away and jamming over it and coming up with loads of little ideas and just jamming to my heart's content. However, what I'm starting to do quite a lot lately, and I've been doing it for years, is I just don't play, I listen, right? I start listening and trying to hear a part that I can introduce. And the reason I do that is because my fingers don't know. They're just going to go to familiar places they already know. I'm not going to come up with something melodic or musical because my fingers don't have that. I might, eventually get round to it, but I'm quite guilty of just falling into the patterns that I always play all the time. So what I'm going to try and do with this is make sure that I listen first and hear a part before I start playing. I hope that makes sense. Let me just check the sound. So I'm going middle pickup on the DGT, which is still very quiet. I didn't think this through, did I? I've got to keep turning up the signal on my input gain. So, right, okay. Right, please excuse me, I'm singing, I know, but that's what comes out to me. So that is a bit low. And you notice I'm playing it in different parts of the neck to see what the best sound is. Okay, we're going to try that in. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Safe part, right? I can come up with these. Let's do another one, quick. Rubbish. I mean, they both work, right? I'll do a third one. Yeah. I'm going to try that. 2, 3, 4. I like that. I'm going to put that in. 1, 2, 3. Okay, like that. Now, something I do a lot to make a feature of a part is I very often, when I'm doing a picking part, I quite often double it with an octave up, right? I'll show you why. It just is something I've been doing for years. I changed the sound, so here I'm going to the neck pickup. Turn the volume up again because it's gone quiet. Just can't get the staff these days. So that's the part. So if I play that an octave, if I play it there and double it as closely as I can to the other part, you will get this. 1, 2, 3. Space. Okay. So there is it's just a little groove, just 8 bars, right? 8 bar groove. Now I'm going to show you sort of, I'll treat some of the sounds. I might pan one off. Let me just change to the mixer. I've got pick 1, pick 2. I'll call that pick 2. And I'm just going to sort of move them around. Sort of pan them. Move them in a bit. Right, I'm just gonna move them in a bit so they're not as wide. And then just to give them a bit of sauce, I'm just gonna put a little reverb on. And I'm going to send those 2 picky parts. Just going to get myself a reverb bus, Valhalla, vintage verb. It's just something I use a lot. Just take some of the decay down a bit, and I'm going to send the 2 picky parts to a reverb, just to give them something that separates them from the other. So, what you've got, I can't even remember what the original melody was now, right? This video is going on for 39 minutes. It's a bit long, but here's the original melody on its own. So yeah, as you can see, usually I'd be working a bit quicker than that. It's because I've been talking and explaining it. But yeah, I just thought I'd do it as a little experiment. Maybe someone could get something from this and just see that, you know, I still haven't thought about what key it's in. Right now, I don't really care. I just, you know, if I'm trying to work quickly, I just move as fast as I possibly can through the idea and get things down, recorded. I don't spend too much time thinking about the tones at the moment. It's only after the thing's written that I can then go back and go, yeah, that could be replaced. That sound could be better. I could do this guitar part. I could put a compressor on something. I just want to move as fast as possible to get something down. I hope this video's all turned out. I hope everything's recorded properly and I haven't wasted 40 minutes. However, yeah, if you've got something from that, let me know. You know, if you do it in a completely different way, you know, I'd want to hear about that. Drop me a line. Just thought it might be interesting. Oh, one thing that I always do as well is I do put this thing called the God particle on, which is just my cheaty way of making something sound bigger than it should be. I put that on at the end just to make it sound like it's a bit more like a record. I don't quite know what it's doing, but it kind of works for me. But if you've got any questions, leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching this, and if I've sent you asleep with this and tuning guitars and all that kind of stuff, thanks for watching anyway. Yeah, take care. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. Bye.